Sales coach and motivational speaker Ron Garverick has made the journey from poverty to wealth in his own life, and his passion is to help you in your success journey as well. His methods are proven because he lives them daily, and you can too. Introducing Ron Garverick.
Before, we'd always be late and on empty. Now we're just late. Kids?
Before, no one used to listen to me. Hello, ID? I'm cold.
Before, we couldn't take in the sweet sounds of nature.
Seriously.
Before it can change the world, it has to change yours. The all-new, all-electric Volkswagen ID4.
Welcome to another episode of the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Ron Garverick. Most of y'all will be watching this right now, but you can also catch it on anywhere you see or hear the show on all of your favorite podcast platforms. That's iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Audible, Amazon, you name it, you can find it. Just go to your Google machine and type in the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. And don't forget about the Manager TO podcast. You can catch that also on anywhere you get platforms, podcast platforms, I'm sorry. And of course, you can find it also on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, you can find it. I promise you, this is going to be a great show today. I've been looking forward to this guest being on my show, and we had the opportunity to get together and do the show today. So, but also don't forget, check out the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast every Monday morning, 8 a.m. That's Central Time. And it's great educational, great content, and great opportunity for people to just gather some golden nuggets and be able to share those with others around the automotive industry. And that's either at your store or anybody else's store. So my guest today is Charles Higgins. Now, Charles was born in Woodsville, New Hampshire, in December of 1982. And, you know, it wasn't too long, Charles and his family decided to move to Manchester, Tennessee. And just over 16 years later, this man, at the age of 18, he found himself at the first dealership as a sales consultant, taking his first internet leads off the dot matrix printer. Now, if you don't know what that is, I'm sure Charles will explain what a dot matrix printer is. But he transferred to industries and started working a national sales training role with a publishing company before coming back into the automotive industry as an internet manager at his first dealership. He also had roles such as general manager, sales manager, special finance director, BDC director, and the industry leader, receiving invitations to speak at special events for Cox Automotive and other nationally recognized companies. So great resume. We're going to talk about a little bit more stuff of what Charles has done. I first found Charles on the scene on Facebook. He was liking some comments and liking some shows of my good old buddies over at Car Guy Coffee. You can't forget Special Roast Car Guy Coffee, Brewing Solutions. They're not a sponsor of the show, but I do like to endorse my good old buddies Frederick Lenars and Lou Ramirez. So, at further ado, let's introduce you to Charles Higgins. Hey, bud.
Hey, what's going on, Ron? It's great to be here tonight. Thanks for having me on.
And it's such an honor to have you on the show, and I'm glad we got to hook up and actually do it for the time. You know, I hear a lot of great content that you provide on Clubhouse and other podcasts, and I just love the message you give. I love the way you talk to people and educate them and give them great information. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there on Clubhouse and Facebook and LinkedIn and whatnot that give these the information, but sometimes they don't do it the way they should be doing it. And you, my friend, you say it with such respect and honor that people can take what you say and go, this man knows his stuff. He really does, and they listen to it. And you've done several positions in the automotive industry. You were a general manager, sales manager, BDC director, internet manager. You've done it all, and special finance. That right there is. It takes a man with a lot of patience and a lot of nerve. And I just want to say thank you for being on the show, and let's get started. What do you say?
Hey, man, that sounds great to me.
So you came from New Hampshire to Manchester, Tennessee. Now, what happened there? Were you part of a military family, or did mom and dad decided, you know what, let's get out of New Hampshire, let's go to Tennessee?
Yeah, so my dad was retired Navy. He spent his whole adult career in the Navy, 20 plus years in the Navy. And but when I was 2 years old, the cost of living and everything in New Hampshire, the hard winters, was just too hard on my dad. He was 50 when he had me. So my dad was 52 when we moved down here. And it was a much easier living down here in Tennessee, better cost of living. So we still had access to the mountains, beautiful countryside, and that's why we ultimately called this place home.
Wow. So there's a different culture shock, environment shock from New Hampshire to Tennessee, right? Different ways of talking. You got.
Oh yeah.
You're up in New Hampshire, you got the Eastern talk, and then you come down to Tennessee, you got to kind of get that hick voice going in there. And there's nothing wrong with it. My family, my dad grew up in the woods in Ohio, and my mom grew up in the sticks in Missouri, so I got plenty of hick in me, so I can say hick. But and then I grew up in Kansas, and we moved my way down to the Panhandle of Texas 11 years ago. So you get in, so you at 18 just automatically just go into the automotive industry. Did you do anything before that, or was it just full get into the industry?
No, I kind of took my first sales position just as, I think this will be a pretty easy job. I can make some decent money while I go to school. And it just kind of stuck with me. I fell in love with it, fell in love with the hustle of the business to start off with, and then just fell in love with sales and being able to help people. It was different every day, and that's what I loved about it. It was always a daily challenge.
And you said help people. When people think about car salesman, they don't think about you're trying to help people unless it's helping yourself and the people in the dealership. But listening to you on Clubhouse, listening to you on social media, you're really out there for the customer. You really care about them and what their needs and wants are. And I applaud you to that, because where I came from at a dealership, that all they cared about was themselves. And you are the complete opposite. You are there to serve your customers.
Well, and I look at it from the standpoint, I want them to make the best decision for themselves, whether it's their budget or their needs, for their family, whatever the case is. I want them to make the best decision for them. And in order for them to do that, I know I have to provide them with, unbiased, real information. Sometimes it's even kind of setting a grenade off in my own lap, because maybe they're looking at something and I have to tell them, like, look, I really don't think that's the best option for you. Here's why. I mean, it's your decision ultimately, but at the end of the day, I know I'd rather lose one customer over giving them all the information that maybe another salesperson wouldn't, because I know that one experience could turn into 10 or 20 or more experiences for me with other customers that maybe I wouldn't have come in contact with had I not been so transparent and informative to that customer.
And I totally agree. I've dealt with customers before that, they came in, and I came from a Ford store, so they were more, hey, I want a platinum F-150. That's what I really want, but I want to keep my payment around such and such. And you sit back and you're like, okay, let's start from point A. What are you trying to accomplish? Well, I need my payment to be around here, but I want something that's comfortable. Okay, maybe a platinum is not for you. And this is when the platinums were limited or platinums. Let's say limited. Remember the blue interior limiteds?
Oh yeah.
I hated them, but our customers loved them. And you find out what they really are looking for. Do you really need the thing that says platinum on it or limited? Do you need the power running boards? Can you live without a sunroof? Now I remember, and I'm sure you do too. I remember with the Fords that you thought every Lariat Plus had heated or cooled seats. And if you didn't pay attention, you go right straight in and go, yeah, this has heated, cool seats, navigation, sunroof. And then come to find out, those didn't have cooled seats. That was the year that they didn't give you cooled seats. So product knowledge was very important of knowing, because Ford changed a lot of stuff. Ford went into appearance package, XLT appearance package, XLT sports package, XLT platinum ultimate package. And they did that with the Lariats too. So when you're comparing a package 302A or 302B, you really had to pay attention to what you had and what that package really was, or your competition. I mean, when you're trying to compare to another dealership and you had the higher package because you had more options, we're really not comparing apples to apples. And before, they just had XLT, Lariat, and maybe Platinum, and then Harley Davidson came in between there. But then they started changing it up. Then it was the Ultimate, then it was the Sport, then it was a parents package. So you had to sit down with the customer and say, I need to figure out what your needs are. I'm not going to sell you a Platinum if I don't believe you need a Platinum. But if you do, I'll sell it to you. But what are we trying to accomplish? I think the customers respect you more. I think the customers will honor you a little bit more if that's what they think you're doing, instead of rip their head off. I'm going to give them this platinum. I'm not going to give them any incentives. I'm not going to give them a discount, and I'm just going to go forward with this. Before we go any further, Dealer Elite is one of the sponsors for the show, the most recognized automotive social network in the world. Sign up now and engage with the best and brightest in the industry. Now, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had to throw that in.
No. I was just going to say, I mean, it's funny because a lot of times I'll have customers, because I deal with a lot of commercial customers, and even with my non-commercial customers, it's funny because they'll say, I want this package, and I'll sit there and build it with them. I've done this several times with like the Maverick that's coming out. Had a lady recently, she thought she knew what she needed, and so I built it out the exact way that she wanted. I said, give me about 5 minutes. Let me check something for you, because I think I can actually get you the same stuff for cheaper. And so I ended up building a completely different truck, packaged totally different, but she was able to get the same things that she wanted, just was able to save, a few $1,000s. And, and it's just, like you said, knowing, I've been with Ford for over 10 years now. A lot of times when people in the dealership or people that I've met over the years, if they have a question about Ford, they'll definitely give me a buzz and ask me, because I know some oddball stuff just from being with one brand for so long. But yeah, it's always nice, to be able to pass that information and knowledge along to the customers that I deal with and other people that I work with. I love teaching the people that I work with, and it's always rewarding to watch them grow.
And growing is what our good friends at Car Guy Coffee always suggest. Lou and Fred are very good at keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. And so we want to share that message also because if we all grow, we all prosper, we all make money, we all take care of our customers.
Exactly.
We all know that advertising is word of mouth advertising is the best advertising out there. And if you treat one customer good, they'll tell 5 people. If you treat them bad, they'll tell 10. Talk about advertising. You, my friend, have billboards around your city, your area, your county. I heard you talk about it. So
Yep.
Yeah, I see plenty of people. They talk about it. You know, you got Alex Flores. I went down to Austin for a wrestling tournament, and turn around and there's an Alex Flores billboard talking about buying vehicles at his dealership. And then of course Bill Have did the billboards in Pennsylvania. Where did you come up with the idea or decide, you know what, I want to do billboards also. I want to get my name out there. Get my face out there.
So it's kind of funny. It actually doing it now was an idea from nearly 20 years ago. When I first started in the automotive industry, it was a lot of analog advertising. If we we were just coming into the digital age. The first CRMs were just starting to peek around the corner. It was very much an analog world. And one of the things I did 20 years ago was I actually paid to get printed billboards. Ran my own incentives and contests at the dealership where I'd give away grills, and that was advertising yourself as a sales professional 20 years ago. And so while I do a lot of digital advertising on social media and Clubhouse and different podcasts that I'm on and just trying to get the message out there as much as possible, I kind of go back to some of those analog ways. I do have, I think I've got 5 billboards running right now. They're all in competitive markets. It was funny. Shortly after I put them up, one of the internet managers at my group, he came to me. He's like, I saw your face this morning on my way to work. And he was like, I really wasn't expecting that. But it still works, and now thanks to the digital era, they're all digital boards. And so, I pick certain times of the day that I want my ad to roll onto that digital billboard. But it's very cost effective. I've gotten several opportunities off of those billboards. So it's been a great way for me to connect in competitive markets and kind of spread my name out there. When it comes to branding, it's all about repetitive. They've got to keep seeing drive with Charles. So I just try to throw it out there wherever I can.
So your manager's seeing a picture of your face.
Yep.
What was the do they fully endorse it? That they're like, man, you're building your own business. You have that ownership thinking just because we supply the inventory, the office supplies, and the utilities. You're actually going out there and you're advertising yourself. Great job. I'm glad that you do that. Or do they like, hey, why are you spending money on that? Are you trying to be some big shot? Are you trying to outshine the rest of the salesmen? What were their feedback initially through the whole process?
Initially, I don't think it really surprised them. I've always been very vocal about how I feel kind of in general, how the automotive industry has tended to be. And that's, I look at it as, I'll take my mom, for instance. She absolutely hates change, hates it with a passion. If she could stick with a flip phone, she would. She hates having a smartphone. And if it breaks, Lord help us all, everybody in the family is going to hear about it. But the automotive industry is kind of the same way in that premise. There's a lot of, resistance to change. We kind of want to do it the same way we've always done it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Kind of that mentality. Now that's starting to change. But my group that I work with, they know that I am not afraid to change and adapt and try new things. So it really didn't surprise them when they saw that. They do, allow me to have my own website with all the inventory. They pretty much will let me do whatever I want as far as advertising. And a lot of that it's a two-way street. I communicate very heavily with them and let them know what I'm doing. Because the last thing I want to do is put my store in jeopardy, either with the manufacturer or otherwise. And coming from a management background, I'm familiar with guidelines that I have to stick by, and everything I do. It's funny because like all my online advertising, my billboards, everything. Very rarely do I ever advertise the traditional payments, interest rates, money down. It's all branding. It's all, this is who I am. I'm Charles. This is what I've been doing for 20 years. I want to give you information. If you want the information, come see me. If you don't, that's fine. But it's all a branding play. It's not, hey, I got the lowest down payment, or hey, I got $500 off. Most of my stuff is all branding. So my dealership supports it. And I'm thankful for that.
What I like here, it says Charles has worked a couple different dealerships, but he doesn't view this as a weakness, but rather as an educational journey. Each stop along the way has taught him his strengths and weaknesses, his desires for growth and success, and his evolving views of the industry as a whole. Now, you mentioned your mother. The automotive industry, to me, is like the person that refuses to get a new cell phone because they're so afraid of change. So they stay with their tried and true flip phone. He often asks himself and others why. It seems like a simple question, but it's perhaps one of the most loaded questions a person can ask. I'm the kind of person I don't like change either. I think when I first got into the business, because it was, all right, here's a policy and procedure. I got to follow it. Here's the 7 steps to the sale. Even though the customer wants to go to write up, skip the test drive, skip the qualifying meet and greet. Hey, I've already looked online. This is what I want. This is what I want to buy. I don't want to test drive it. I already test drove them. Let's get to write up. Let's get to the numbers and let's see what we can do. And I was like, I gotta go meet and greet. Hi, how are you? Qualify. What are you looking for? Test presentation. Hey, this is the car. Test drive. Oh, don't you think you look good in this car today? Is this something you want to take home? 2, let's go inside and get the numbers for you. Now, do you want a Coke, a coffee, or a bottle of water? No, they just wanted to skip the whole steps, go right straight to the write-up. And then I hated change, man. It took me forever to understand, you know what, we got to follow the customer. Slow it down, still do your fact finding, still ask them what they're trying to accomplish, but slow it down. And for the longest time, I hated change. People were like, do videos. You need to do videos. People want you to do videos. And I was like, no, I'll just do what everybody else does. Take the pictures off the website and post them on social media, and you have a group of pictures people can look at and say, for more information, call me. And then you get text messages, hey, how much is this vehicle? Well, you have to come into the dealership. Right? So they were saying do videos so you get more of an idea. If you do a live video on the vehicle that they're interested in, they'll see that the vehicle is there. So I started learning, okay, man, I got to change. If I want to sell cars, I have to change because everybody else is going to change also. They say 93% of the people that get a video will open it up more than they will a long-worded text message or email. And it's funny that they say it because, some of the videos that people do, they have their mouth open. And so you're intrigued.
Yep.
Why does this idiot got his mouth open? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit play, and I want to see what they got to say. So they hit it 93%. If you send a video, 96% of the time, the customer's going to reply back to you going, hey, I love the video. Hey, I'll be in at 2 o'clock today. I have a salesman right now. We're pushing all these guys to do videos, and he did a video. He went on Snapchat, and he has this captain hat on. He has a pipe, and he was like, "Hey Richard, it's Brant. Come sell me your car." That was it. And the guy goes, "Hey, I'll be in at 2 o'clock today." He goes, "Hey man, that worked." That's what we've been
Well, it's
trying.
personality.
It
It's
is.
personality. It's building a relationship. We were actually talking about it this morning in our sales meeting, and then yesterday in the sales meeting as well. We were talking about videos. You've got to be putting yourself out there, and to kind of touch back on what you were talking just before that. I mean, at the end of the day, all sales is. It doesn't matter what you're selling. Whether it's a product or a service, it doesn't matter what it is. Your customer, what they care most about is the relationship. They want to know that they're dealing with a real person, that person actually wants to build a relationship, and it be a two-way relationship. They don't expect it to be one way, and you shouldn't expect it to be one way. You have to give and take, and that's what people want. I look back. I grew up in a good old boy network. It was handshake business. You ran tabs at the parts store and the service center. I mean, that was not unheard of. And I love doing business like that still today, just embedding technology into it. But it's all about that relationship. And, it's hard to build a relationship if you're not putting yourself out there in front of the customer, sending videos.
Videos is the key to success. And I tell the guys all the time, I say, "How many videos do you see that I do every night?" They're like, "Hey, you're doing videos at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning." I said, and they go, "Why do you do that?" I go, "That's the only time I have to do videos. That's the only time that I have the opportunity to provide content for my audience to make them better." And I said, it gets attention. I put it on all social media. I'm new to TikTok, but man, I get a lot of people looking on TikTok on these videos. I don't do them so much on Snapchat because they only give you 30 seconds, but I'm trying to get the automotive architect name out there. I'm trying to let people know, hey, I'll do this stuff for free as long as I see that you're getting some value out of it and that you're giving the opportunity to provide for the customer, make some money, and provide for your family. Because I want you to work on a financial plan and not a monthly budget, and that's why I do video. And I have no I mean I don't care. Video is so much better than just sending a text message. Customers don't want to read text messages. Sometimes they're way too busy. They ain't got an opportunity to read. Back in the day, customers didn't want to read emails. I don't know how many cars that I sold via text, negotiated and sold, got a commitment doing via text, and watching them come in at 6 o'clock after they got off work and just walk into finance and sign the paperwork. It just, and now you have the laws and you have to do everything over a CRM just so you make sure you're okay and don't get the dealership sued. But when they're so busy, like we're busy all the time at work. I'd rather text somebody than receive a phone call. I won't answer the phone. I hate answering the phone. And because I don't like holding it up to my ear, and B, if I put it on speaker, then everybody can hear my conversation. But if I can get a text message, then I can read it. And that's what's important is you've got to cater to what best fits the customer at the time. If you try to call them and they don't answer, send them a text message and say, "Hey, I didn't realize that you were busy. I was trying to give you a call. Let me know when would be a good time to call you." Or if you prefer, just receiving text messages. Majority of the time, they're going to say, "Hey, just go ahead and text me. I'm at work. I can't talk on the phone." Perfect. So is Ford the only dealership manufacturer that you've worked for, or have you worked for others?
No, I actually started at Toyota. and started at Toyota when the Prius that everybody knows now debuted. Not the original Prius from the 90s, but started at Toyota, went to work for Ford, have worked for Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram store, Kia, Chevy, Buick, GMC, all the domestic brands, and then Kia as well. So, and Toyota.
And out of all of them, which would you prefer selling?
Absolutely Ford. I just love, I've been heavily involved with Ford Direct, which is the digital side of Ford. As far as the dealership, they handle all the advertising and marketing and stuff for Ford dealers. So I've been heavily involved with Ford Direct. And I just love where Ford is trying to go and where they are going. I just love their mission, love their product, love the direction that they're going digitally. So it's been a great journey. I've loved working for Ford.
Ford's where I started out. So, and plus my dad was a huge Ford fan back in the day. So I went with Ford as much as I could. And
Was that because he would disown you if you went to work for Chevy, or
you know, he,
you know how that feud gets?
I think it'd be more Dodge than it would be Chevy, but he just wasn't a Dodge guy, and
Yeah.
that's all I ever grew up seeing. We had the Ford van. I can't remember what it was. We had the Ford van. We had the half ton. My first vehicle was a '78 yellow Pinto. Then I moved up to a '93 Ford Ranger, then a '97 Ford Ranger, and then I veered off on a Taurus for a while. Then I bought a Focus, and then I went in. And my mom's boyfriend, he was huge in Dodge, so bought a black Dodge truck, and then we went, PT Cruiser. Then I veered off to a Charger, Durango, and then we finally went. My wife and I went Explorer, and then now F-150. I drive an F-150. I got a demo, but my personal vehicle's an F-150. Of course, we got a Volkswagen Cross Sport. But the automotive industry has been good to us. I remember when I worked at the newspaper in Liberal, Kansas. The automotive industry, I've been involved in the automotive industry ever since I've been in the advertising business. If it was radio, if it was newspaper, but you were in the business in 2008 when we had the recession, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really wasn't comprehending what it was all about. All I knew is my advertising dollars was going in the trash, and dealerships decided absolutely not advertising, don't want to have anything to do with it. And we had to take cuts off per inch or per columns in half, more than half on our pricing. We were doing full pages for $200 a pop when regular price of $1,000 a pop. And my deal was, as good as I was in the advertising business, I was like, listen, you still got to sell cars. You still have to turn inventory. We still need people to buy cars. No one's walking to work. We still need to sell cars. But we did take a big hit in 2008. Do you think we're about to take another big hit because of what's going on right now? Do you think this is the new recession? Do you think that we're going to be hurting in the automotive industry when it comes to selling inventory?
Yeah, it's funny. There's only a couple of us at my dealership that I work at that have been in the automotive industry for, to be able to experience several big events that have happened in the automotive industry. And when this all started, our ownership and management, kind of looked at me when we were in the sales meeting. They're like, Charles, what do you think? You want to talk to the other salespeople about, what could come of this? And this was at the beginning of the pandemic. So last year, because that's when everybody was like, "Oh boy, what's going to happen?" And that was kind of the start of what's going on right now. And and I did talk about, I went through the market crash, went through the cash for clunkers program where the government, subsidize trade-ins for high emission vehicles to get them off the road. And immediately I told him, I said, we're probably going to feel a little bit of a hit. I said, I don't think it's going to be as quick as it was or hard as it was when the market crashed, but it's going to definitely be different. And I think right now what I've been telling people is, for me, a better example is you think about the cash for clunkers. That took so many pre-owned, good quality pre-owned vehicles out of the market instantly. And it put a hurting on the used car industry. And we felt that effect. Now that is a very small small example of what is happening right now. That is just a blip on the radar compared to what's actually happening in the market right now. And what I tell people is when that happened, when the Cash for Clunkers program started and ended, which it wasn't that long that it actually ran, but when it ended, we felt the effect of that for 2 years when it came to pre-owned vehicle values. So right now, as we're going through this, with new cars being virtually not there, used cars are getting harder and harder to acquire because, we were at the sale today, bidding on cars online today, and there was cars that were selling at the auction $8,000 over retail value. Well, I can't acquire that vehicle. So I think we're going to feel this for a long time. But, like you said, you can't stop selling cars. You have to keep pushing forward. You have to keep, putting your name out there. And now, even more than before, it's a lot of focus has been around, well, just build value in the car. Just build value in the car. Right now, you have to do way more than that. It's not just about the car. You have to build value in yourself, in your dealership, what you offer as a group, and the vehicle. So I think you can still be successful even moving through this over the next year or two, because it's definitely around. It's going to be around for a while. This is not going to get fixed overnight. I tell all my customers, I'm like, look, take all the issues of parts not being available. Say we've got all the microchips we could ever handle, all the plastics and rubber that we could handle. There are no parts on hold. You still have the simple logistics of it. You've got dealers that normally stock 600 plus new cars that are down to 50. And these are dealers across the country. There's not enough truck drivers on the road to get those vehicles out and resupply all these dealerships. And, a lot of smart people, smarter than me, they say follow the money. If you want to know what's going to happen, follow the money. All your manufacturers right now, they're not what they're advertising is go to your local dealer, order the vehicle that you want, and we'll prioritize that order, because the manufacturers already realized they're not going to be able to catch up with this for a long time. It's going to be probably 24 plus months. And so the money is going to that advertising. Go to your local dealer and order a custom vehicle. And they've already, Ford, Toyota, Lexus, a few others have already announced that they're really going to be pushing the old school demo, where they actually send a vehicle to the dealership for only demo purposes. And that's so people can drive it and order their own vehicle. So it's definitely here to stay, but I think it's all in how you look at it. You've got to stay proactive, get your name out there, and build those relationships.
The good thing about inventory coming in is you're selling them. You're selling them before they even hit the lot. And we're seeing that at the Volkswagen store, with crossboards, Taos, Atlases. We have them sold before they even show up on the lot. Now, we also have the opportunity to dealer trade. We got great relationships with other dealers. So it's have this vehicle. Can we trade you out something? We got a SEL cross-port coming from the truck. We're coming from port. I could just go ahead and push it in your inventory so you can have it, but I really need this one. They're like, absolutely, don't worry about it. We'll take care of you. I want to take time to got some viewers tonight. Stan's Chair, if you guys don't know him, he was on Monday for the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. Check out his show. And we got a couple more people here. We got Brent Fricker. He's a great guy from Amarillo. He has his own show, the Saturday Man Show. And Freddie Stice, thank you for joining us today. And Roy Davila, he's out in El Paso, originally from Corpus Christi, Texas. He's out helping Alex Flores with Bravo Cadillac in Las Cruces and El Paso. Thank you for watching the show. And we can't forget our favorite Australian, Michael Dooley, is watching tonight. Thank you for joining the show and giving my man Charles the respect and honor that for being on the show, and talk about Michael Dooley. We're going to talk about how you guys got involved and how you are part of his Pinnacle Online Marketing Agency. Now, you know, Michael is a great guy. He really pushes and lets people know about the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. He's a avid listener and viewer of the show. But how did you two meet, and how did you get involved with the Pinnacle Online Marketing Agency?
So I actually have to tip my hat to Think Ad Group. That is how I initially met Michael Dooley. It's actually how I initially met the Car Guy Coffee Group. After seeing them online, I really got connected with them. So we had a weekly Zoom call that we were doing. Thirsty Thursdays Think Tank, and so beverage of your choice, and it wasn't necessarily just automotive. There just happened to be a lot of automotive people in there, but that's how I met Michael, was on that Zoom call, and we just got to talking, going through social media, Facebook, and then we started talking even more on Clubhouse about, where I do like to try to think outside the box and be creative with my advertising and marketing dollars, and stretch every penny I can into a dollar. And so that's where Michael and I really hit it off. And he told me about the program that he has with automated marketing and lead generation. And it just lit a fire on me. I just really enjoyed what he was doing. And so I've been part of his program. I've been a user of his program for 3-4 months now. And it's going great. I love it. We had a Zoom call earlier, actually, with a few new users that are coming on. And it's been fun for me because I've built out several CRMs. So I know I get into that program of it. I kind of geek out on it a little bit. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great system for me to use. It's helped me out a lot. It's given me a lot of time back, and ultimately given my customers a more consistent and better experience over time. So it's been great.
And it's great to, be able, and I've heard him talk on Clubhouse. He don't really try to sell you on it. He says, hey, if you want to know something, if you want to get into this, hey, my friend Charles, he uses it. Look at this, social marketing awards, from 2020 to 2021. He's really doing something good and helping everybody out. So he's serving others so they can get better in the industry. And by using the Pinnacle Online Marketing Agency, you're seeing a lot of business come in, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a huge help, and it's been amazing how much work it has taken off of my plate just the monotonous work that, you know, it it's hard to describe. I mean, it's just being able to offer a better experience, more consistent experience to my customers, and because it's all about consistency. And that was one of my big things was that I wanted every part of my process, whether it was an active customer that I was helping or a sold customer, I want them when they talk about their experience, I want to be able to replicate it 100% to the next person that they refer to me. So that's been the big thing.
So if you're watching on the show on Facebook or YouTube, go to your Facebook right there. Type in Michael Dooley, Michaeldooley. Find him on Facebook. I mean, guys, if you're in the car industry, automotive industry, and you want to get more leads, you want to get more attention, get a hold of my friend here. He'll make sure he'll take care of you and lead you in the right direction. So, it's so wonderful having you on the show because you have so much positive energy. You have so much enthusiasm when you go and you take care of people. And that's one thing when I see you, I'm like, if I was in the market of buying a vehicle and if I wasn't in the automotive industry, I think I can trust this guy. I think that I can look at him and know that he really does care for his customers, and he really wants to serve them, and that's a good thing, good quality to have. Excuse me, when it comes to trusting. I'm going to take a short break. I'll be right back in a minute, and we'll keep continuing talking with Mr. Charles Higgins.
He has proven methods that really work. If you want to make more money, take these classes. He's intense, truthful, and he knows what he's doing. Check him out.
Ron Garvick, man, where to start with this guy? I've had the pleasure of working under him for the past 4 years. He's my manager up at Street Volkswagen, and it's just been an amazing experience. I came in as a green pea with no experience, and he's went over and taught me a lot of great stuff with the car business, whether it's negotiating, trade appraisals, walkarounds, you name it. He's went over it with me, and I'm super appreciative. He brings a ton to the table, a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience. He's worked the desk. He's worked every position, BDC, sales. He's done everything in the dealership, so he has a wealth of knowledge, and having those credentials behind him really solidifies what he's saying. He knows his shit. He's good at what he does. He's had results. So definitely listen to Rod Garbrick, man. I'm very blessed to have him at the dealership and be able to learn from him directly. So tons of good stuff. Can't wait for y'all to check it out.
Hello guys, my name is Joel Marquez, and I highly recommend Ron Garbrick sales training because he's very passionate at what he does. Me and Ron have been working together for over 5 years, 2 different dealerships. I went from making $2,000 to $2,500 to pushing over $10,000 a month. Yes, I'm currently over $100,000 year to date in about 8.5 months. I highly recommend you guys take advantage of all his courses. He's great at what he does. Thank you guys. Have a blessed day.
All right, and don't forget to like and share the Manager TO podcast. That's the other show that I got going on. What the Manager TO podcast is all about, it helps you. I give you things to say to overcome objections when a customer says, hey, I need to think about it. I need to talk to my significant other. I need to pray about it. That price is too high, so on and so forth. So check out the Manager TO podcast and all your favorite podcast platforms. So we were talking about the automotive industry, and let's step back a little bit and let's talk about besides the car business that you're in, and it's your love. You love the car business, but let's talk about the 4 people that you really love, and that's your wife and kids. How many kids do you have?
I got 3. Got 2 boys and a girl. My oldest son is Charlie. He's 12. He's my little future F&I guy. But Jonathan, and he's 10, and then Olivia is 3.
Oh wow, little youngster.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
how long have you and your wife been married?
I am a victim of the car business, and I have been divorced.
Oh wow, okay. Welcome to the car business.
Long hours, long hours.
You know, and if you look at it, being in the car business can hurt your marriage, or being in the car business can help your marriage. In my case, it has helped me stay with my significant other for a long time because I'm never around. So we never get in each other's hair, we never get on each other's nerves. And you know, just before I got onto the show, I was like, oh, I'm so exhausted. And she's like, I don't even want to hear it. You have all day tomorrow to do nothing. And I was like, I am doing something. I have another show tomorrow. She's like, I don't want to hear it. You're not doing anything tomorrow. And so I believe that I'm going to have a honey-do list in the morning. But at 4 o'clock, I got a football game to go to. So hopefully I don't have anything that I need to be doing tomorrow. So, but like I said, it can help you with your relationship or it can hurt you. And I've seen both realms. So at least you have 3 kids. At least you have.
Yeah, and I'll say, one thing. It took me a while to learn in the automotive industry, and that is you have to understand what the value of your time is, not only at work but outside of work. Yeah, I am fortunate enough to work for a store that appreciates that I need time with my kids. I have my kids joint custody. It's every other week. So every other week I am out of the dealership at 4:30. They let me leave early so I can get home, pick up my kids, and have dinner with them and tuck them in every night. And that is phenomenal. And it's something that I've been asked about a lot here lately, especially on Clubhouse. As a single dad, how do you do the automotive industry? And you have to find, part of finding your home in your home dealership is finding a dealership that has the same values and respects the same things that you do. And thankfully, I've found that where I'm at, and they allow me that family time with my kids. And I tell you, it's worth more than anything else I could get from work.
Absolutely. And I was in the same case. I never missed my daughter's any of her deals. If it was a play, a recital, whatnot, I always made sure that I made it. With the boys, man, they got so much sports going on and traveling with wrestling and whatnot. So I didn't get to make all the wrestling tournaments, but I didn't make sure that I hit every football game up. And like right now, my wife, she's a coach for volleyball, wrestling, and track. And so right now it's volleyball. Most of her games are on Thursdays when our high schooler, our sophomore, plays JV. So she doesn't get to attend those games, but she gets to go to our 8th graders games. So I took Thursdays off so I can go and watch the JV games. So Blake will have a parent there to watch him play. Which on the other side, you got the 8th grader going, "Why don't you ever come to any of my games?" And so you have to explain.
Yeah, it's a fine balance. It's a fine balance.
One parent has to go to yours, the other parent has to go to Blake's, and it's like, why can't you come to mine and mom can go to Blake's?
Yep.
So I got to make time to go to one of his games. Hopefully, one's close enough that I can leave work and jump ship and go watch him. But you got to have family time. The thing is, yes, you can work 70, 80 hours a week, but when it comes to your kids' events, you can't get that back. You can't say, I'll go next year, or or I'll try to make the next one, because they remember that. They remember if you don't show up, because they see other parents with showing up for their kids' events. So this is important. Your job will always be there. And it sounds like where you're working now, management is always on board and they're taking care of you. And in all honesty, if you're working for yourself and you're doing what you need to do and you're selling cars and you're making the store money, I think they'll be lenient, going, man, he's checked off all the check marks. He's done everything he needs to do. This guy has his own ownership thinking. He has his own billboards. He has his own website, and he's really taking care of his own business. Let the guy go. Let the guy do what he needs to do and take care of his family. And it keeps it healthy. It keeps your mindset healthy. It keeps the kids' mind self healthy. And it's really, and I honor you for that, and I respect you for that, because there's a lot of people that don't do that. And I got some young soon-to-be fathers at the dealership, and I joke around with them. I'm going, man, you're gonna work 90 to 100 hours as soon as that baby's born, because you ain't gonna have nothing to do with it. I said, trust me, you get home, she's gonna pawn that baby off on you and say it's your turn. And you're going to say, man, I've been working all day. I've been dealing with these customers, and I've had a bad day, didn't sell cars. She don't want to hear any of that. She carried that baby for 9 months. She has them for 10 to 12 hours during the day, changing diapers, giving them bottles, giving them baths. You could at least take care of that kid for the next 2 hours so she can get some R&R, and you better learn how to change diapers. And I kid with them, and they're like, man, I don't want to hear about that. And I'm like, I'm just telling you. Man, they hand babies over to me all the time. So hats off to you, my friend.
Appreciate it.
That's a great honor to see that you're doing both, taking care of your kids and building the business for yourself. Talking about building the business. This man has got his own website. Charles Higgins, the way car buying should be, over here at Newton Ford South. Now, this is a build-a-brand product.
Correct.
But the good thing about this is, man, you got reviews, you got specials, inventory. Now, if you hit inventory, you got the dealership's inventory on your website, your build-a-brand website.
Mm-hmm.
So when they look at it, they're like, man, okay, I can hear a request video. There's the price right there. There's a stock number. How do I get a hold of this guy? Boom. You call him. About me. There's your digital business card. Man, Build-A-Brand is such a wonderful tool. You got your LinkedIn, your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and you got your own YouTube channel. You want to call the man? You want to text the man? There it is. This is really thinking outside the box. And, look at that, your specials. This is crazy. There's your reviews. People love you. This guy came all the way from Tulalahoma. I don't know how to say
Tullahoma.
Yeah. That's like Texas with Texas and Oklahoma. This guy loves you, man. And you are thinking outside the box. You are taking care of your customers. You got your ebooks here. Recommend a friend, earn some money. Who wouldn't want money? But we got salesmen right now that are not thinking outside the box. They are not building their own business. They don't have the ownership thinking when it comes to, and you did it. Look at this. This is you. This is your business. It says when you're coming into work. Got your telephone number. Hey, you want to get in contact? There's an email. There's a beautiful picture of the skinny white guy and it says, drive with Charles. Who does this? I can tell you who does this. Someone that takes this business serious, takes the ownership thinking and says, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. I want people to reach me. I got my own website. I seen you when you were posting video or pictures going, which one looks good? Which one you want to go with? I was like, I want the white guy in there with the little road map arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, come by for me. This is great. This is a great opportunity for people. Guys, mirror off this. This guy didn't invent this, but he took advantage of doing this so he can have customers follow him. I talk to salesmen all the time. Hey, get your own website. Yeah, I need to do something like that. But these same salesmen go and buy PlayStation 5s, the new Xbox. What are you doing it for? Invest in yourself. Invest in your business. Because what if the dealership decided, hey, I'm done. I'm not spending no more money. I'm taking the website down. I'm done spending 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 a month in advertising. You're gonna have to do it yourself.
Well, and here's the funny part. Here's the funny part. There's a lot of people that think it costs a lot of money to do this. And what's funny is that people want to buy from people. They don't want to buy. Most people could care less who your dealership is. Most customers could care less what your dealer has. They're worried about the person that they're dealing with. That's who they're building a relationship. The person's name that's on the building, they don't know who that is. They don't care because they're probably never going to see them. There's a lot of dealerships out there, and there's always the exception to the rule. There are dealer owners that are out in their dealers every day, meeting and greeting customers on their showroom floor. But there's also a lot of dealerships that's not that way. And those customers, they connect with people. And so it does, I say that to say that it doesn't take a lot of money to build your own personal brand that people can connect with. You can actually accomplish. It's crazy. Over the last week, I've talked to probably a dozen or more salespeople that are doing kind of the same thing that I'm doing. We're challenging each other and trying to make each other better through these challenges. And we're bouncing metrics off of each other, and website analytics and things that we're doing on social media and different things. And none of us are spending a lot of money. What we are doing is we're putting ourselves out there. We're letting people know who we are, and that's what people want to connect with. I mean, you can get your own website. You can get your own marketing. I use a social media planner. Everything that I spend, all in all, for automated lead nurturing, automated lead generation, my website, billboards, I might spend $600 to $800 a month. And you don't even have to spend that much. If you are hesitant to even go that far, take one step, go to your local newspaper, take your business card that the dealership probably paid for, take your business card to the local newspaper and say, hey, can I just run an ad? I just want to run a business card ad. It's probably like $10, $15 to run it in that week's issue. Now, a lot of people may think that doesn't work, but what it does is it puts your name in people's minds. The more they see that, if you spend $10, $15, every week, we waste more than that. Most salespeople and managers in automotive dealerships, we waste way more than that on junk energy drinks and junk food than anything else. Take that $10 or $15 that you waste a week, just go run a business card ad in your local newspaper. You'd be surprised how many phone calls you'll get with it. People still read the newspaper. Just believe it or not, they do. But that's one small step that you can take to brand yourself and get your name out there. I've seen salespeople that they started a new dealership, maybe they're new to the business, or they just started a new store. They'll go to the local newspaper, run a little quarter-page ad. They'll take a quarter of the page, cost them like $75, maybe $100, and they'll have their photo, where they're working at, all their contact information, and they'll run it for a couple weeks just to get their name out in the public. Next thing you know, this brand new person that doesn't have any opportunities in the CRM, doesn't have any leads, he or she just started at the dealership, already has people coming in asking for him because that person's the only one at that dealership that actually spent $75 to put an ad in the newspaper. So I say it, a lot of people look at what I'm doing. They're like, oh, you got all these moving parts and you're doing this and that. And yeah, I am. I've also been doing this for 20 years, but that doesn't mean that it's not approachable for someone that just started in the business. You just have to be able to be willing to invest in yourself. It doesn't have to be $5, $6, $800. Don't get wrapped up in how much the dealership is spending. They're having to sell a brand with no person attached. You're just selling yourself. People will naturally gravitate to that because you're an individual, you're a person. And at the end of the day, people want to connect with people.
People taking care of people. That's the most important thing out there. So, tell me, I got a rapid fire questions. I want to see what your thought is, and we'll hit that up in a minute. But we haven't talked about training. Training salespeople, training managers. What kind of training does your store do with fresh new green peas or with veterans trying to sharpen their axe? What kind of training do you guys do? You have video training? Do you have a trainer inside the dealership? Does your managers train? Or do you not have any training at all?
So at my dealership, I mean, myself and one other salesperson, he's been there for a little over a year. I think he's going on 2 years now that he's been at the dealership. Gabe Stewart, he's a great guy. Brand new to the business, but has really taken off with it. Him and I will we will partner up with people that are just coming in, whether they're veterans or new. If they're new to the dealership, him and I will work together with these new salespeople to kind of show them the ropes, take them through, and we do live training. This is real scenarios. It's not when I started, it was VHS tapes. You went in a back room and you watched VHS tapes for a week straight, and you really didn't know any more than when you started. And half of it was irrelevant anymore. And so we have morning sales meetings every single day. We do walkarounds every single morning, and we rotate the walkaround so everybody gets an opportunity. It's a learning experience. You get to learn something about a vehicle that maybe you didn't know that someone else knew, but you also get that practice of doing role playing with the walk around, because we always pick a scenario. We say, hey, this is your customer. It's a college student, or it's a high school graduate going to college. Sell this car to that person. And so we do that every morning, and then we just mentor our onboarding. So.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't grow up with the VHS tapes, but I did grow up on Facebook and Grant Cardone, doing his Young Hustlers or doing some kind of training, and you pay $50 a pop, and you get to watch him and Jared talk and do their little training part and trying to educate people and whatnot. And I'd buy a couple of pepperoni pizzas from Pizza Hut and bring everybody into the conference room and say, hey, watch this man. He is a wealth of knowledge. He knows everything about the car business. We gotta learn from this guy, and we gotta take everything he says and write it all down. We had no training when I started. I mean, there's a computer, there's a car lot, and that little database in there is called a CRM that holds all your customers. Some of them are, the majority of them are orphans, which means no one's touched them. Get on the phone, make phone calls, get them in here. And when we ran out of that, then the manager came in, threw a phone book at you and said, start calling the customers down the line. And it was like, wow, this is the car business. And, everybody's heard the story before. When I became a manager, I was like, man, we got to do some training. These guys are not picking up a book. These guys aren't watching a YouTube video of Steve Richards and Jim Ziegler or Sean B. Bradley or anybody. They're just winging it. And so knowing that they still wasn't going to watch videos, I did the video watching, and then we had training at 8 o'clock in the morning. And from 8 to 9, it was role play, it was presenting numbers, and it was learning how to get these guys better at their craft of selling cars. Because the worst thing about it was, if you didn't know what you were doing with the customer, you weren't able to sell cars. So now you're just south of Nashville, right?
Yep.
Okay. Here's a question: you sold a
All
country
right.
music sticker or anything?
I have not. Actually, I have not. I have done promotional work with a Ford store that I was at, with Kix Brooks from Brooks and Dunn. We partnered up on a program with a children's home out of Brentwood. So did that, but haven't sold any trucks to any country stars.
Okay, great. Yeah, I got a friend. He's a country music singer. He lives in Nashville or somewhere around Nashville. And I was like, man, it's so close. Nashville, someone looking for a great
Oh
deal.
yeah.
They leave Jackson. They're like, man, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to be incognito. Maybe nobody will know who I am, and I'm going to buy me a Ford truck. And, you know, maybe next time, maybe somebody will come in. You know, I know somewhere down in Texas, down in Dallas, you got the Dallas Cowboys. The Ford store I came from, Cowboy, or giving away demos for the players to, drive vehicles in and whatnot. So, all right, rapid fire questions. We've got 5 beautiful questions that I asked, or I just started recently asking them. Number 1 question: who do you think right now, or past, present, or in the future, is going to be, or is, or was the top trainer in the automotive industry? Who in
Oh, geez, that's rough. Um, honestly, I would have to say, Fred and Lou. It's funny, and the reason I say that is because after doing this for over 20 years, I was starting to get burnout. I was just kind of to a point where I was like, I'm about to. I ran across one of their videos watching Facebook on my Apple TV in my living room. Just happened to pop up. Never seen the guys, never heard of them before. And they totally reignited me. But I love the approach that they're taking. It's a more personal, you know, start with yourself and go from there. And I think where I see them going is just going to be, I think they're going to be the people to watch out for when it comes to training and setting a precedent of how automotive should be.
I think that they were handed over with the automotive show. We had the auto dealer live with Dave Villa and David Krebs. And I believe that, they stepped back, they got other things going on and whatnot. But I think they handed the torch to Lou and Fred and said, man, we love what you're doing. We think that the new generation is going to feed off y'all. And here you go, run with it. I think you're going to do great. I love these guys. They're huge supporters of the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. I'm a huge supporter of them. That's why I always love talking about Fred and Lou, because we're growing together. And, to me, my personal opinion on sales trainers, I love Tim Kent's. I love what he does. I love how he draws people's attention and has a lot of great content in his videos, in his training. And the thing about me, I love watching training videos. I went and watched Auto Dealer University. I watched all their videos with Dave Krebs and David Villa and Joe Calla. I've done the David Kane videos. I've done the Tim Kent's videos. I've done YouTube, like I've mentioned before. The first video I ever seen, Jim Ziegler. He was at some conference 48 minutes, 56 seconds. It was for managers. I was a young green pea, but I was drawn to what he was saying. I was resonating with, that's how you do it in the car business. Then the next video, Mr. Steve Richards, he was presenting a pencil, overcoming objections. I was like, I love that guy. Now, it came into, when I got into BDC, there wasn't very many BDC trainers out there. So I got hooked to Sean B. Bradley and the Dealer Synergy Group and watching all his videos. My good friend, Rand Cage, BDC trainer, I watch his videos. I really enjoy watching him. And of course, I'm an F&I director. I got an F&I. Shaka Dyson went to his training, to his master class, watched all his training videos on his F&I University. There are just so many great trainers out there. They're always willing to help. Business side, trying to be an entrepreneur, I gotta say, Corey Mosley, hands down, the best trainer I've ever seen on if you're going to try to build your business, if you're trying to become an entrepreneur. That guy right there, he's top notch. That is my huge environment, huge
Yeah, and
trainers that I honor. And
there's a lot of great ones out there. There really are.
Last but not least, if you're talking about being a people person, if you're talking about helping the people, you can't forget Damien Boudreaux.
Yeah, absolutely. I like Damien. We talk all the time on Clubhouse, and he's a great guy. He's all about finding your tribe, connecting with your tribe, connecting with your community, and it's definitely a great thing to do. I mean, it's a great message. I love what he preaches. So definitely a great trainer.
Damien is all about the people. We're not in the car business. We're in the people business, and you take that to heart. Second question: are you a tea drinker?
No.
You don't drink tea?
Hot tea or tea?
Like tea, like unsweet.
Unsweet.
Unsweet. I love it.
I like unsweet tea.
But you in the South, you should be drinking some sweet tea.
Yeah. It's always fun watching people when you go to a restaurant and you ask for unsweet tea, and they look at you funny, but or you ask for soda pop instead of Coke. Here everything's Coke. Yeah.
Pepsi is a Coke. Mountain Dew is a Coke.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, you go to a restaurant and you're like, can I have an unsweet tea? They go, do you want me to bring any sweet and low sugar for it? If I wanted that, I would ask you to put it in and give me a sweet tea. But, being in Texas, I got told the other day on my personal Facebook page, if I'm having a bad day, I have a dream that there is a spout just pouring tea out, and it'll make my day. And I'm like, yes, unsweet all day long. And I had a friend go, man, you're in Texas, Ron. You should drink sweet tea. And I was like, man, we're not friends no more. All right, outside the automotive industry, what podcasts do you listen to?
Outside of the automotive industry. So I actually listen to a lot of real estate, both podcasts and on Clubhouse. I jump in a lot of real estate rooms because I've always been interested in how parallel industries operate and function and market, because I think we can stand to learn. Automotive is not, in some ways, is very far behind other industries that are parallel to automotive. So I do listen to a lot of real estate based and podcast and listen to rooms on Clubhouse.
Clubhouse is really, really going out there, and it's easy to touch and talk to your favorite trainer or someone that's in the industry and getting feedback from them. Like William up in West Virginia, he's always, you and William are like on every podcast.
Oh, William J.
Or not. Every time I turn around, I'm like, oh. There's Charles. Oh, there's William. And it's great to see you guys on. It's great to see you guys share some knowledge with the audience. All right, fourth question. Favorite band? It could be country, rock, rap. It doesn't matter.
So my favorite group is the Home Free Vocal Band. They're an a cappella group.
Love them.
Yep, they are absolutely phenomenal. So that is my probably top. Kids jam it out every morning. We're all morning people, so we're up singing and dancing at 6 o'clock in the morning. People think we're crazy, but we're all morning people, so we're usually rocking that out every morning, singing along.
Home Free's got a bunch of great
Oh, yeah.
songs in there. They got Elvira they did with the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yep.
They brought Ari over from Pentatonics. They did Ring of Fire. Jolene, top notch, great song that they've done. My Church. I mean, I'm right there with you. I love the acapella stuff. And
It's funny. Most of the time I say that, and they're like, "Who the heck is that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's an a cappella group, you know." But no, I grew up singing, so I favor the a cappella side. But I love all genres of music. So
and it's great music with what they bring, and they share everything with their voices. I mean, you can see right here. I mean, they're at a campfire and they're singing. There's Ari with Pentatonics. If you don't know what Pentatonics is, they do
Yep.
pop music. But they're singing Ring of Fire on this, and it's just so beautiful. And they give the song justice, you know. And I believe that Mr. Cash, Johnny Cash, would love this song. The way they slow it down, and then they start beatboxing and using that deep bass voice and Ari to make this song. It's just great music there. All right, number 5. You've held several positions in the dealership. What is one favorite position that you held that you would? I mean, it could be sales, it could be BDC, general manager, whatever.
honestly, my favorite position is sales. I've been in multiple management roles. Was GM of a used car dealership. Been a sales manager, special finance. Special finance would be probably a close second, a very close second. Yeah, I know. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but it's the reason I love being in sales is because I'm able to help people. I'm able to take all my years of experience and actually apply it to a customer and help them in a way that maybe somebody else can't because they don't have that experience. And that was the other part of the subprime financing that I really enjoyed was that, having worked deals for years and been around in the automotive industry and knowing what banks would do what and having the relationships at banks. And still to this day, I haven't been in finance in 4 years. And I've still got several bankers that I can just call them up and they'll answer my call every time and answer any questions that I have. If can't get a deal done at the desk, I'll call the bank. It doesn't bother me. But I love being in sales, dealing with people, being able to help them, give them accurate information, not just a sales pitch. It's all about real information.
Now, you've held all those positions. Do you find yourself thinking, man, I got to dumb it down. I can't let these guys know I was a finance manager or a GM, and then in your head, dumbing it down so the other managers don't think, man, this guy is too big for his own shoes. I mean, he thinks he knows everything. He's held a position. Apparently, he couldn't keep it, and that's why he's back in sales, which was only a choice by you saying, man, I just want to be a salesperson. I want to take care of myself. I want to take care of the people.
Yeah. I mean, a big part of stepping into, and I've gotten, I've had people tell me to stop thinking about it this way, that I stepped down into sales. I stepped down from management into sales, and I've had a couple of people say, "Don't say that. That's not the case." Because the reason I went back into sales is because I needed a. I was tired of the stress of management. There's a lot of management. There's very little leadership.
Right.
Across the board, there are more managers in stores now than there ever has been. There's usually maybe 2 or 3 salespeople to one manager, which to me is insanity. But there's very little leadership, and I just got tired of the stress. I wanted to spend more time with my kids, have less stress, be able to turn the phone off at night and not have to worry about, getting a call from the fire or police department that someone set the alarm off, or, the internet's down. I've got to go call support and get it all handled. I can let someone else worry with all that. But it's funny because, the managers that I work with, I've got a great team that I work with. They appreciate the experience that I do have and the knowledge that I do have from that experience. And we will bounce ideas off each other. If they're stuck on something, they can't figure it out, they'll come in my office and be like, "Hey, do you know how to do this? Do you know how to get this to work?" or whatever. And I'm like, "Yeah." And I go help them out. At the end of the day, we're a team. It's not, we don't look at each other as superior or inferior. We're a team. We work together. There's things that they're better at than I am, and vice versa. But that's all part of being a team and working together.
See, that's what I had to do when I left the dealership. I left the Ford store as the general manager and going to the Volkswagen store. So I asked the GM, I said, "Can you give me a week so I am able to dumb it down? Because I just want to walk into the dealership and have all the other salesmen look at me and go, okay, this is a new salesman. This is a new guy." And I mean, I got to the point where I would ask a salesman to take a TO for me just to see how trained he was or how good he was in closing deals. And later on, come to find out when they're like, "Man, you used to be a GM. Why'd you use me to TO?" I said, "I just wanted to see how well you would do by TO and my customer." And I had to do that. And I was like, I need a week. I need to get the general manager persona out and go back to being a salesperson, because I don't want to walk into your dealership, Mr. Big Shot, Mr. GM, and think I know everything and show disrespect to the other managers and show disrespect to you. That, man, I know more than you. I can handle this customer. And I was a salesman that wouldn't take a TO. Take a TO for another salesperson, because I didn't want to step on anybody's feet. I would let the man with the title have the opportunity to take that TO. Even though I'm a better closer, I believe, I didn't want to step on his toes. And then,
Well, and it's funny. I mean, I don't have a problem asking my managers, that I work with, for a TO. If I need a TO, I need a TO. It has nothing to do with experience or lack of experience. Sometimes you just need another person to say the same thing you just got done saying.
Exactly.
There's no shame in the game, and it's funny. Some of the other salespeople are like, "Oh," like we just had a new sales manager start at our store. She came over from one of our Nissan stores, and Michelle, she's been doing great. But when she first started, had her talk to a couple customers, and they're like, "You're having her TO your customer?" I'm like, "Why not? What?" Like, I couldn't close them. It's not that I'm a bad closer. I just wasn't connecting with that person. Okay. Maybe she can, and she did. So yeah, there's no shame in. Again, it's teamwork. You're all trying to accomplish the same goal. Get off your high horse and just do the job.
I didn't have a good culture where I was at. So, if another salesman tried to take a TO for another salesman, the GM's like, "No, that's what I get paid for. That's what I do." You don't need to be go talking to the others. The golden rule: don't talk to another salesman's customer. And so, unless he told me to, and I just didn't want to be the new guy showing up to a new dealership, them knowing, hey, this guy came from a Ford store, he was the general manager, and now he's coming here and he's stepping on toes. I didn't want to do that, so I stepped back until they asked me, hey, Ron, can you go and take this TO? And 3 months later, got a management position, and now I TO all the time, and I love it. I love taking care of customers. I love providing for them, but I also want the salesmen to learn how to TO or to close their own deals, because I don't want them to just get lazy as soon as they get an objection. Like, hold on, let me go talk to my customer, my man.
Right.
It's like, what did you do, man? What did you say? Well, they just said no, and I came about you. No, you got to overcome your own objections. Man, I had a GM, and I hate always talking about him. He would run my customers off. So I had to learn how to close my own deals and grind my customer, because he'd come out and go, I ain't got time for this. Get out of here. Don't ever come back to my dealership. So I'm a true believer. Learn how to close your own deals. If you can't, then go get a manager. But you got to make that attempt. Charles, it's been great to have you on the show, man.
Yeah. Absolutely loved coming on. Appreciate you having me.
I know it's Eastern time in Tennessee.
I'm Central.
Oh,
So.
Central? Okay.
Yep.
Good. I get confused where the Mississippi River is. I know that's the cutoff between Eastern and Central time zone. But I'm glad I got you on. It's been a great honor. I've followed you from day one whenever you popped up on social media. And I was the same thing with you. I didn't know about Lou or Fred till I was on a podcast with Rachel Block. And these guys kept, responding and sending messages. Going, man, this is a great show. This is a great guy. This guy's awesome. And then I had the opportunity to be on their show, and they're just great guys. And I actually get to meet them. We build a friendship and relationship on Facebook and all kinds of social media and text messages, but I actually get to meet these guys at Digital Dealer next month. It's going to be a great time, a great honor. October 12th through the 14th. I'm excited to see my friends and get to connect with them and build a relationship with them. Also want to say Dealer Elite, they are a sponsor of the show. They're the most recognized automotive social network in the world. Sign up and engage with the best and brightest in the industry. Also, can't forget Street Volkswagen of Amarillo. They're trying to electrify Amarillo if we had ID4s. But as of right now, check out the new Taos and Crossport. And last but not least, you can't forget Garb Automotive, finance, sales, BDC training, and management training. Go to garvautomotive.com. That's GARV, as in Victor, automotive.com. Get all your training. Charles, you have one thing that you could say to our audience. What would that one thing be?
So the one thing I will say is when I was a sales trainer, I always told everybody PMA equals OPM. Positive mental attitude equals other people's money. We are in sales. We're here to earn money, but you have to have a positive attitude no matter what you're dealing with. Leave it at the door. Have a positive attitude no matter how many times you've been told no. Keep a positive mindset, and you will be successful. Keep pushing forward. Don't give up. Just stay positive.
Talking about positive, I'm going to do this real quick. Right here, you see this down on the bottom left-hand corner. Pull your cell phones out. Connect with that QR code. Pops up, there's Charles, all over the place. Know how to reach the guy. He's right there. You can call him, text him, email him. I just took your thunder. But how do people reach you, my friend?
Well, they can hit the QR code right there. It's got all my contact information. That's my digital business card. and there's a video on there, a little bit more about me. Some of my ebooks are on there as well. I've got one free ebook on there that is really great. It lays out the complete car buying process from start to finish, all the way from research to getting insurance once you've gotten the vehicle home. Complete car buyer's guide. So that is on there along with some other ebooks. All my inventory and everything, social media feeds are on there as well. You can connect with me online. But otherwise, just Google Drive with Charles, and you'll find me along with all my customer reviews that are out there. So appreciate it very much.
Awesome. And to find a way to get a hold of the Automotive Architect, you can go to YouTube, click on here, plenty of videos. As you see, there's an interview live with Charles. Also, we got plenty of interviews with Stan Sheriff. We got your Know Your Self-Worth videos. All the videos. Become a friend, subscribe, share. Man, we'd love you for that. And also, don't forget to go to garbautomotive.com, get all your training needs. And don't forget, wherever you listen to your podcast, could be Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Audible. You can even call Alexa. Go, Alexa, play the Automotive Architect Show podcast. It'll pop up. Manage your TO podcast. Can't forget that either. Go to that one also. Charles, like I say, my friend, it's been an honor to have you on. It's been fun. I'm glad that you spent the last hour and 36 minutes with me. And
it was a joy.
Hope to meet you someday. I hope to shake your hand and have dinner with you. But until
yeah. If you were closer, I'd do you like do Fred and Lou and some other people. I'd Higgins you, as they call it. I'd just randomly show up at your dealership.
I'm like 40.
Yeah, you're just a little ways away.
Now you're starting to sound like Dwayne Cage.
Oh.
I went, he's in Memphis. I went and I did a video. You know, you can record videos on your cell phone and moving around. And I did a video on how many hours it was to drive, how many hours it was to walk, how many hours it was to take a bus, or how long it would take to fly. And he said, "That's great news." And that's all I got from him. I'm like, man, I'm trying to tell you how easy it is to come to my store.
Yeah. I've Higgins Fred and Lou a few times. I'll drive up to Kentucky, which is about 3.5 hours up there. But I just drive up there to say hi. Last time I went up there, drove up there, dropped off donuts at the dealership, said hi, and was like, "All right, you guys have a great day. Do your thing," you know. But I love connecting with people. I mean, that's why I'm in sales, is connecting with people, and it's a lot of fun. Put a smile on someone's face, you know.
That you drove all the way there.
Yeah.
Just to say hi, and then you left.
Yep. Yeah, I've done it several times. They call it being Higginsed.
Well, Mr. Higgins.
Oh yeah, see that's 14 hours. I mean, I do this on my day off. You know, I take my day off to go to Kentucky.
How many hours do you put in a day at work?
Not 14 hours.
You only have one construction zone.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to Nashville and go all the way up through Missouri, Illinois, then Oklahoma, and you skip that, but you're only 14 hours away.
Only 14. I tell you what, you meet me halfway, and I'll do that. I'll meet you halfway.
Let's see. Or you could take a plane. Look at that. Plane, where's it at? Damn. Plane, 3 hours. 3 hours to fly, give you some donuts, and then fly back home.
Those are some expensive donuts.
Hey, I mean, I'll take any kind of donuts there is.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there, and I'll send you home with a coffee. But no, I'm playing. It's been great having you on, my friend. It's a great pleasure.
Absolutely.
I look forward to the next episode with you when you ever got time.
Definitely, man. I hope you have a great night, and thank you to all your viewers. Don't forget to like, share, comment on Ron's videos, and I know he'd appreciate that. And love what you're doing, man. Keep doing it.
Sure.
I'm sure I'll see you tomorrow in Clubhouse. So
I like just listening. People were trying to get me to join and talk, and I was like, I'm driving down the road for an hour. I'm like, oh man, the road noise gets annoying. I don't want to be that person. So, all right, my friend. Salute to you, and have a great evening.
see you, Ron. Take care.